I want to get to what I've been trying to get to for a while regarding spiritual jurisdiction. I'm going to grow you. I'm going to feed you today, so take your notes. This is number 30 on elements of a supernatural life. And here we go. There are, catch this now, write this, calm yourself, center yourself. Ulysses, you're right on time. Here we go. There are territorial, I'm using the word matrices, the plural of matrix. Somebody said like Matrix Part 2, Reloaded? No. I want you to hear the word womb. Birthings, that's another good thing. Yes, it's still Sunday, Pastor. Okay, I was going the other way. I was going to the New Zealand and Australia. So you're Sunday afternoon there. There are territorial matrices, wombs. The Old Testament uses the phrase, I believe it's in Exodus, Leviticus, about whoever breaks the matrix, talking about the firstborn to come out of a womb. I want you to think of thresholds, points of entry. And when you think of a womb, when you think of birthing, good morning, John. Thank God for you being here. Catch that I'm telling you, you're right on time. All of you are going to be blessed today. And good, to Karen as well. Larry, good morning, cousin. I thank God for you. There are birth points. There are birth canals, opening the matrix, opening the womb, exiting that birth canal. There are those birthplaces that are territorial in nature for people who live a supernatural life, people who leave behind a supernatural legacy. And these territorial matrices, these coming through a birth canal into a new territory, they are part and parcel of spirit adventure. In your notes, do we have notes? Are we ready? Okay. Part and parcel of spiritual adventure. We pass through these doors, these birth canals, we pass through them into various areas of spiritual jurisdiction. So if you recall now, some of our early notes in this supernatural series about the wilderness, and I'm not going to draw the birth canal and the vulva and all that stuff here, but there are wombs that we gestate in, that we are little tiny gestating people there. It's a tail, I guess. We're like a little pollywogs. I don't know. I have a tripod there. It's crazy. I guess I could take one of the legs off. There we go. And we exit these, passing through this territorial matrix, or passing through these matrices. We exit through the gift shop, and we step into now a new place. So you have, here is the womb, the place of growing, of development, right? Here is, let me get a better cross sample. Here is the matrix, right? That birthing place. And here now is the jurisdiction. So, in the life of the Spirit, you will occupy various wombs of places of development. You will pass through various matrices, and these will lead you to various jurisdictions. And this is spiritual in operation, but often material in function. This is a spiritual process, the development in a womb, the season of birth, passing through the matrix, breaking through, and entering and occupying a jurisdiction. It's a spiritual thing, but it's often material in operation. Okay, thank God for you. Safe travels there, Emmanuel. Okay, so just hear me out. We pass through them into various areas of spiritual jurisdiction. What do you mean by spiritual jurisdiction? In your notes, it's our place. A spiritual jurisdiction is our place in the Spirit. It's our location in the Spirit. It is, catch this now, the seat of our flow. It's where we belong. Our territory. It's a territory in the spirit. Now, the spiritual place, the spiritual location, the seat of spiritual flow is often the invisible. It's the not seen. So the iceberg breaks out above the water, what's visible, but beneath that water is the remainder of the iceberg. What was sticking out of the water had nothing to do with the Titanic. It was what was underneath the water. So we are in our operation. We're operating in a place. We're operating in a location. We're operating in the seat of our belonging and our flow. But that is merely an above the ground, observable, touchable, tangible, locatable manifestation of that which takes place below the ground. I told you recently about Smith Wigglesworth. He was wont to say, "I am 1,000 times bigger on the inside than I am on the outside." Now, I don't know what he was on the outside, 5'9", 6'1", 5'7", doesn't matter. But on the inner life, on the immaterial dimension, he said, I'm 1,000 times bigger. And when we talk about your life, where you live, what you do, where you work, the seat of your flow. Right now I'm flowing at home as a stay-at-home dad. My wife just got her PhD. My wife just got her MD. We're finally able. I've been working 3 jobs to get her through. She's gone through residency, and now, man, she's taken off. And we could pay for the child care because she's bringing in the bucks. But right now we feel that one of us in the ages of our kids needs to be hand-on, and that's where we are. And thank God for the money. There's another place of your flow where you are in the natural. Somebody says, look, we could both work and it would definitely get us the second car payment, a second this, second that, but we're choosing to eat hamburger helper with less hamburger, and we're choosing to have, to not supersize anything. Why? Because we feel it's better at this stage for one of us to be with whatever that's what's seen. That job, that place of service, that place of ministry, that platform, that is your jurisdiction, and it's out here in the world where you physically live. We've talked about the place in South Africa. We've talked about in Indianapolis. We've talked about in Ackworth. Those are physical seats, physical places, physical locations, but they ought to be. They should be. Spiritual people aim to be that those physical things that they do in the spaces they occupy and the jurisdictions they operate in, they aim that those would be merely the top view of a spiritual jurisdiction. And we get there again through this process. We get there again because there is some spiritual wombing going on. There is some spiritual birthing and pass through in a matrix going on. And this now leads to the occupation of spiritual territory or jurisdiction. That's what you and I go through all the time. And these happen repeatedly. You can have multiple stages of gestation. You'll be in your first trimester in one area, your second trimester in a second area, your third trimester you'll be crowning in another area, you'll have just been born in another area, and you'll have long occupied a specific jurisdiction for 10 years in another area. There are repeated birthings, repeated gestations, repeated occupations, the territorial matrices. This process is part and parcel of what it means to live a supernatural life. And somebody say you're talking a lot now, and I understand that, but I'm just staying here with me. Just like my pastor used to say, we're feeding you. And sometimes you say, well, that was a big bite. You spit it out. We're just going to scoop it up off your chin, and you just numb it and gum it some more. Okay. The book of Acts. In the book of Acts 17, in the New Testament, in the Christian scriptures, it calls these jurisdictions, in the King James it says, God has determined the bounds of our habitation. The bounds of our habitation. What does that mean? It doesn't just mean, well, you were born in this place, and you're born in Monroe County, and you grew up in Monroe County, and you're going to die in Monroe County. That's part of it, but what it actually means is season by season, gestation by gestation, birth by birth, jurisdiction by jurisdiction, there is a place for you, right? Is it West Side Story? There's a place for us. There's a place for us. But the place can be natural, is often natural. It's often geographical. It can be pinged on your GPS. You can drop a pin in your place for this time. But really, the physical place you live, the physical job you do, the physical operations and flows that you move in, they should be. And maybe they always are. I don't know if they always are a reflection of where we are spiritually, but certainly we should aim to let our outer be a reflection of the inner, to let our outer jurisdiction, place, and occupation be in direct harmony, aligned. Maybe we never get our outer entirely aligned with our inner, but my God, our goal as people who walk in the Spirit should be forever aligning. And we may hold it, and then we come out, hold it, and then we come out. But we should always be aiming to align what's happening in the Spirit gestationally, what's happening in the Spirit in the birthing and passing through the matrix, what's happening in the Spirit with this is our territory, our pea patch, our jurisdictional, habitational, defined place in the Spirit. We should be ever endeavoring to be sensitive to what that is, and ever endeavoring to align our outer life with that thing. If you're catching what I'm saying, say amen. So let me just pause there for just a minute. So we say, why is this important? Because what's happening outside you is directly tied to this. I was talking to my kids the other day and just doing dad stuff. I'm so excited. We did the Grace Conversations podcast earlier this year. We've got the Lamb Party podcast coming up in an election year, which, my God, if you're on social media or watch the news at all, you know how desperately needed the Lamb Party is right now as an idea whose time has come. But in between that, in the next next 3 or 4 weeks, going into October, in the early part of November, I'm going to be doing a podcast with the kids, and in that podcast with the kids, I'm going to be just they're going to be teaching me, and I'm going to be teaching them. I'm very much looking forward to it. But I was talking to them the other day about. I don't know what God has called you to do. I don't know if I even agree with that phrasing of the topic anymore. There is a flow for you. There's a flow for you. There's a flow for me. And finding and yielding and paddling consistent with that flow, paddling when we need to paddle and resting when we need to rest. That's for you and that's for me. But I told them what I know for sure is that the expectation of the universe it may be in media, it may be in movies, it may be in teaching, it may be in marketing, it may be in, I don't know where it could be. It may be in art, I don't know. But I do know fruitfulness is the universal call. Fruitfulness is the universal beckoning, is the ubiquitous, common, shared beckoning of God, of this world, fruitfulness. So why understanding spiritual jurisdiction is important is, yes, it is true that we are to bloom wherever we are planted, but it is also true that we are to be planted where it is the mind of the Spirit for us to be planted for this now, bringing forth the things that were deposited in us, bearing fruit of those things in that time, in that place, in that location. And this fruit is a perennial, maybe not the apple tree bearing fruit all the time, but the garden of your life certainly being in bloom. Well, the hydrangeas are out today, and the crepe myrtles are out there, and boy, the lavender will be coming on, and so and so. And oh, you just wait, my Japanese maples, they're going to come right at the time. They're going to get that peak color there towards November. The garden of your life, it may not be everything in full bloom at once, but the garden of your life should always have some aspect, some component that is blooming. It may be very small blooms. It may be just your impatience out there by your mailbox. Everything else is dormant, but boy, I just got these and they're going strong. You may just be in the foundation of blooming. You may say, well, I'm not seeing flowers, but my leaves are strong and my roots are strong. The garden of your life, I don't know what you're called to do, but I do know that I can sum it up in one word. It is a calling to be fruitful. It is a calling to be bountiful. And that can be bountiful at home. That can be bountiful as married. That can be bountiful in unmarried. That can be bountiful paired or unpaired life. It can be bountiful owning your own business, working for business, retiring for business. It could be bountiful as a glorious heiress of other people's business. It can be bountiful working for jobs. It can be bountiful unemployed, recently unemployed. There is never a day in which the magnetic pull from your life from this world is not pulling out of you, not trying to magnetize and draw out of you some dimension of fruitfulness, and your place and your location and the seat of the flow for your life, your jurisdiction and your fruitfulness, they go hand in hand. And the more aligned, not, well, you're being disobedient and there has to be punished. That's a false God concept. That has nothing to do with God, nothing to do with Christ. But it could be where the flow is for you. And I got to find a job. I got to find a place. No. I've got to find that inner settling. I've got to find that inner jurisdiction, that inner sense of place and location, that inner sense of where and now coming together, birthing, passing me through this territory that I'm in now, what was developed in me for that in this territory I will be fruitful. This is the message. This is the lesson. This is the truth of those who walk in the Spirit. Are you catching me? I'm I'm getting excited and I don't. Okay, so let's try this. We are getting nowhere. These jurisdictions. I'm going to move forward now. These jurisdictions. If you're just joining us, you're right in time. These spiritual jurisdictions are unique to us. They're like our fingerprints. My jurisdiction is not yours. My place, my location, the seat of my flow for my life in this very moment is different than your place, your flow, and the seat of your location in this life. They are unique to us like fingerprints. And they relate to multiple spheres of existence. When I talk about your jurisdiction, I'm not just talking about ministry. I'm not just talking about where you live or what you do. Multiple spheres of existence. Your work, the work you do, your vocational work, your avocational work. A person told me one time, how blessed is it that your passion, your purpose, and your provision all align. But sometimes, my sense of purpose is fulfilled over here. My sense of passion is fulfilled over here, but I get my money from another place. And that's a blessed life too. It's blessed to have a passion. It's blessed to have a sense of purpose, a sense of aim, a sense of right now, this is what I should be doing. My pastor said it a couple weeks ago. He said, stop asking God, what am I supposed to do? Instead, start asking God, how do you want to manifest yourself through me today? How do you want to what's my purpose? Where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? No, God, in this season, how do you want to manifest yourself through me today? What's today? It's my now. And how do you want to manifest? That's the flow. Well, your now is tied to your where. What did Guru Patka say? You take from nowhere to now here. Your work, your relationships, your ministry. There's work jurisdictions, relational jurisdictions, ministry jurisdictions. There's finance jurisdictions. There are influence jurisdictions. Coming in your notes, there's a jurisdiction for your work. There's a jurisdiction for relationships, for ministry, for finance, for influence. and authority. There's seats of authority that you occupy, seats of influence that you occupy in certain jurisdictions that have been granted to you that are yours to possess. Why? Because I'll tell you why. Because you have passed through in your page here. You have gone through a womb of development. You have passed through a matrix of birthing. You are occupying now a jurisdiction, and this jurisdiction, it can be financial, it can be relational, it can be influence, it can be authority, it can be work, it can be ministry. It doesn't matter, but in that place and in that time, in that here and now, that fruitfulness, that seed of flow, that location, that place that is coming constantly as a pond to replay, rinse and repeat process in our life, territorial matrices. Something is happening in us, we break into something next. This becomes our next now and here, and in that now and here, and all these dimensions is our fruitfulness. In your notes now, when I speak of spiritual jurisdictions, I'm referring to the ever-shifting spiritual locales. I don't mean you move every couple of weeks. I mean the seed of what you flow in is ever-shifting. Places, platforms, plateaus. Places, platforms, plateaus. Catch it in your notes. It's coming. What do you mean ever shifting? I mean, the here and now from 1990 is a different here and now from 2025. The here and now for me in 2025 is different than the here and now for 2024. The here and now for me, September 14th, is different than the here and now for me, August 14th. It's different from the here and now for me. And you sense, I've told you the past couple of weeks, I have pastored you. I am pastoring you. Connie and I are thrilled to pastor you. What do you mean pastor us? We cover you, we develop you, we teach you, we pray for you, we intercede for you, we seek the thriving of you and your house, and we seek your long-term welfare. We seek to impart unto you some inspiration and expression of what it means to embody Christ, what it means to be love embodied. This is, somebody say, but we got one in South Africa, one in this. I just don't understand why we don't have a church. Just start a physical church. I will start a physical church here in Atlanta. That'll be great. There'll be 300 people in the church here in Atlanta, and guess what? Brother Facco from across South Africa, he's going to be online, and the people in Indianapolis are going to be online. You've got to get out of the physical location, and what I'm telling you is that is a product of the gestation in my heart, as a product of the gestation in Connie's heart, our dual womb experience, passing through the matrices, stepping into this jurisdiction. And I'm telling you, I've told you the past couple weeks, I am resolved more than ever, more resolute than ever, to grow you up, to fill you up, to stretch you, to strengthen you, so that you might more thoroughly and more fully occupy your own jurisdiction and your own blooming. Right here. Right now, this locale, this place, this platform, this plateau, where we are here in the natural, having this conversation is just an expression of what's happening in the spirit, and it is tied to jurisdiction. It is tied to fruit bearing. In your notes, jurisdictions, these we infiltrate, we inhabit, we occupy. We infiltrate, we inhabit, we occupy. And these things are, again, on our spirit adventure, our supernatural life journey. I am on an adventure of the Spirit. You are on an adventure with the Spirit. Your whole life. So I've been married. I've been divorced. I've been up. I've been down. I've been rejected. I've been praised. I've been celebrated. I've been hired, fired, scattered, smothered, covered, and chunked. And man, life has been crazy. Some people call it life. Other people call it the spirit adventure. You are on an adventure with God. You are on a hero's journey with God. Well, I'm divorced. Well, that happened in your hero's journey. One day, you're going to go to that next place, and one day, there's going to be a big screening, and they're going to announce, and you're going to sit, and like you look up at the stars at night, and they're big and bright. You're going to lay out on that lawn, and we're going to watch the story of your life, and oh, what an adventure. And you're going to watch all the things that were coming for you that didn't get to you, and all the drama that came into your life that somehow, some way you got rescued out of, and all the things when you thought you were the loneliest, and God and the angels were hovering over you, and you're going to see it played back. You're looking at the backside of the tapestry now, a friend once told me, and the backside of his tapestry is all twisted and woven and muddled and muddy and out of focus. But when you see it from the other side, oh, this beautiful tapestry, this is the story of your life. This is the adventure of your life in the Spirit, and this is what you are living right now. It's full of close calls. It's full of setbacks. It's full of comebacks. It's full of depressions. It's full of doubts. It's full of letdowns. It's full of shame. You disappointed yourself, moving from who you were, trying to be who you are. Will they ever let it go? Will you ever let it go? Can you recover from the past hurt? Did that person damage you permanently? Wait a minute, how is the sun shining again? I never thought I'd get out of bed, and now I don't. I'm so happy. I want to stay up all night. I mean, all of this is the Spirit adventure, and chalked inside, buried inside, written into the adventure itself is these different occupational territories. Jurisdiction is entree. I have this in my notes. Somebody say, are we eating now? Well, we are eating now. But it's entree, it's entrance, it's a pass into. It's opening the velvet rope and pulling aside. It's entree granted to us. Spiritual jurisdiction is a sphere of places. It's entree. It's somebody undoing the velvet rope and saying, come on in. It's granted by the will of man. Not by the will of man, but granted by the Spirit for the Spirit. Okay, let's move on. I hope you're catching. If you catch what I'm saying, your journey, your life is not gonna be the same. Okay. So I want to talk to you about three things. I want to talk about your gifts, your development, and your jurisdiction, and how do these relate. Let's go through it. Let's go through it now. So first, let's talk about your gifts, right? Your gifts, your talents, and we're going to add to that your development, and we're going to see how that translates into your occupation of jurisdiction. Just keep this in mind. Okay, let's get into it here. Just okay. In your notes, it's going to come at you fast. We're bagging groceries. I'm not one of these that beep. And so, how are you? How are the kids? Oh my gosh! Let me get the price check and type. Now, is this a sweet onion or a Vidalia? I can't tell. I can never tell if that's not how I'm doing it. I'm ringing you up fast. Beep, beep, beep. It's going to be up to you to get it all bagged. You might end up putting the ice cream with the hot rotisserie chicken. They're not going to know till they get home. You might be putting that giant can of Beanie Weenies right on top of the fresh bread. They're not going to know till they get home. If you're fast, you'll catch it all. If not, you just put it together and they'll decide it later. They're not going to remember your name anyway. They're too busy to talk to you. Our talent, our giftings. It's coming in your notes right now. Our talent, our giftings, our assimilated experience. That we've had some experience, we've amassed it, and now we've assimilated it, and it's part of who we are. Our leanings, here in your notes. Our talent, giftings, assimilated experience, our leanings, our propensities. These are all bestowed upon us. You didn't get your experiences. You didn't acquire them. They bestowed. And someone said, well, no, I'm going to the Bahamas next week. That's an experience I'm choosing. Yeah, but that experience you're choosing is the fallout of something bestowed upon you, right? I mean, the fact that you're visiting the Bahamas instead of living in the Bahamas, the fact that the Bahamas is a place you'd like to go instead of the place where you've always been, that happened to you. Your talents, your giftings, your assimilated, amassed experience, your leanings, your propensities, they're bestowed upon you. They form what we call, this will be an interesting thing to make note of, your gift cluster. Your gift cluster. Taken together, you know, you've seen Slumdog Millionaire. If you've never seen Slumdog Millionaire, I won't spoil it for you here, but that's a story about the talents, the gifts, the assimilated experiences, the journey leading up to this unique gift cluster that just happened to align perfectly with the challenge at hand. See, Adrian's going to the Bahamas next week. Listen, do you have room in your suitcase? If you have an extra large suitcase, I'll fit in. They form what we call our gift cluster. I'm gift cluster. Your gift cluster is like here's my gift cluster. I know just enough about painting that if I had to make out living as a day laborer painting, I know just enough about it. How did you end up with that? Well, my assimilated experience. It's a talent that I have. I know just enough about proofreading and copy editing that I could get a low-level job. I could make $15 to $25 an hour, entry-level job, doing that. Somebody said, how'd you do that? Well, I grew up with a mother that always had her eye on what's this and that's that. Somebody said, well, did I choose that? No, that's part of my gift cluster. I'm a pretty decent talker. As my mother-in-law once told me, you talk good. When you're on the stage. That was a good talk, Mike. You're a good talker. Well, I would have called it a Holy Ghost inspired sermon and a prophetic utterance, but good talk is good. I like that. These are things that I didn't acquire these things. This gift cluster, it was given to me. My grandmother told me one time, preachers, pimps, and painters. She said, Mike, you're 2 out of 3. And I guess that's okay. I mean, that was her thing. So the fact that I have this gift cluster, it's what I bring to the table, my talents, my giftings, my assimilated experience, my propensities, the way I lean this way or lean that way. I remember when I got a job, my first real job, and I was working for this organization, and the organization wasn't clearly defined and the vision wasn't clearly defined. And it kind of had this appearance that it was, kind of a flim-flam, not real serious. And the first thing I did was, let's get us some legitimacy, and let's get some decent logos, and let's get some decent letterhead. Let's get some brochures that are explaining instead of a little fold-over thing that you just lick the side and you printed it off. And let's get some stuff, and let's get some communication to our members, and let's grow this thing. And man, that thing went from 100 people to over the next couple of years, it went to like 11,000 people coming to these things. Well, we want to be part of this organization. But my mother, I was talking to her, I said, well, I'm doing this and I'm redoing that and I'm getting this and I got a package coming in and we're going to send out this. And she said, Mike, keep in mind, you're tackling the problem based on your gift cluster and your experience. She said, but if you've been raised in landscaping your whole life instead of marketing your whole life, she said, you might have gone first to say, we got to get this building looking good. Let's get these shrubs right. She said, you often attack things from the basis of your gift cluster and your experience. That's how you try to solve the problem. She says, you're jumping in the marketing presentation first because that's your leaning. And you know what? She was right. She said, but if you came from construction, you'd say, we got to get this headquarters right. She said, so keep in mind what you already know. You're not seeing things as things are. We all see things as we are. But this gift cluster, what we've referred to as our entelechy, right? The Greek idea of what's our the maximum yield of ourselves. This come from, and in your notes, this is pre-deposited. It is present deposited, pre and present deposited in us. In your notes now, we get it by God, by life, by our genes, by our circumstance. How did you get your gift cluster? How do I know the things that I know? How do I know just enough IT, just enough painting, just enough writing and copy editing, just enough? How did I get that? Because by God, by life, by genes, and by circumstance, all these things have come together to form my gift cluster. And that gifts and talents, your gift cluster, is the first aspect of these jurisdictions. So we're here now. We've tackled this, right? We understand on your notes here the gift clusters and the talents. Now I'm going to take you farther. Let's talk about the development. Our developing our gift cluster, or our development of these gifts and talents, or I have in my notes here, or more correctly, our development within these. We don't really develop our gift cluster. We develop within our circumstance, within our life, within our genes, what's been deposited to us, within the giftings of God. Our development within these has little to do with God, life, genes, or circumstance. It's related to our recognition and will. Developing your gifts, developing your talents, the God-given things, the life-given things, the circumstance-given things, the genetic-given things. These you want to develop these, or you want to develop within these. The God part, the life part, the circumstance part it becomes less and less. Now, if you're going to develop, it's a matter of recognition and will. What do I mean by recognition? Do you know and see what your gift cluster is? And will, do you have the will to do what it takes to grow that into maximum? Water, please. I'm joking. I told myself September 1st. I don't want that. I told myself September 1st I'd stop smoking, and now I'm telling myself the 15th I'm going to stop. Oh, thank you so much. God. Oh, God. Okay, don't leave. This is getting good. So here's a question related to the development of your talents. Oh, let me go back, because when I say the development of your talents, just let me take a drink. When I say the development of your talents, I feel like I'm doing an ASMR. When I say the development of your talents, recognition and will, sometimes it's not our recognition. Sometimes it's others' recognition. Sometimes it's what others see in us. This is a big part of parenting, right? Boy, if you missed the podcast, the marriage podcast, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Michelangelo phenomenon. How one spouse can see in another, how a spouse can only see the marble in themselves, but the other spouse can see the statue within that marble and draw it out. So when I talk about developing talent, sometimes I'm talking about not only recognizing within your own self what your gift cluster is. Sometimes I'm talking about recognizing within yourself what your gift cluster is, because other people say, this is what I see in you. Now, you can't give the reins of your life over to other people, because they'll tell you should be this, you should be that. Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? And a lot of times they have opinion. I'll tell you this. I did my one-man show last year. I'm hopefully going to do it again next year, hopefully coming to Houston, LA, DC, and going to tape it here in Atlanta. This is my plan. And what's so interesting about my one-man show is every time I would get up and do sermons, people that had never heard me before would come after me afterward and say, man, why aren't you on stage somewhere? And then when I'd get hired by companies to go places, and they would say, don't mention Jesus, don't mention the Bible, just get up and speak and motivate the people. I would speak and motivate the people, never mentioning God, never mentioning anything. They say, why aren't you some sort of preachers? You know, I would go some places, I would talk about the health and wellness of families in a relationship thing, or I would talk on something that's completely, and people say, why are you not doing politics? You should be in Washington, D.C. What's happening is, you're often never just one thing. You're a combination. You're an amalgamation of multiple things. And sometimes recognizing within you the gift cluster, sometimes you can hear that by what the world feeds back to you. So I'll leave that there. So here's question one. Do we see what is in us that might be useful for thriving? It's a recognition question. Can I see what's inside me? Can I locate my gift cluster, my experience, my assembled, compiled journey? And can I look inside and say, wow, this might be useful for thriving. It might be useful for thriving. And here's what I say. Other people often see this for us, and they'll tell us as much. You're really good at that. I noticed the way you talk to children. You're really good at that. Have you ever thought about, I noticed the way you operated that thing. I saw the way you dealt with that customer. Have you ever considered maybe this? Are you a teacher? I'm not a teacher. I thought about it, but I never went to it. I think you'd be a phenomenal teacher. Where does this come from? Because there's stuff in you that is useful for thriving. And if you don't recognize it, sometimes, Jerry Savelle, peace be unto him, used to say, one of the ways to find out where you're supposed to be is ask what people constantly comment on within you that they see. What are they doing? They're verbalizing your gift cluster, and sometimes it's confirmation. Sometimes it's confirmation that you're doing it because people come and say, man, I can't explain to you. You got up and talk. And this has happened to me in secular places, religious places, spiritual places, prison, places where I was in a religion that was different than mine. Places where religion wasn't allowed to be named, places where I was trying to be funny, people cried and said, man, you should be a pastor. Places where I was trying to be spiritual, people laughed and said, man, you should be a comedian. Sometimes these are confirmation, which is what? I am showing forth my intelligence. I am showing forth the fullness of myself. It comes to you as confirmation. But sometimes these things come to you as confrontation, which is what? A part of you that you're trying to push down, a part of you that you don't want to say yes to, but people keep speaking to it because they can see it in you and on you, and they know there's an element of thriving to it. So recognition and will. Do you see in you what might be useful for thriving? But the second question in your notes here is, will we follow and flow with this? The thing that is useful for thriving, will we follow it? Will we flow with it? will we follow these things? Will we flow with these things? Will we flow with our gifts, with our talents, so that these might be exercised for the purposes of our discovery and display? Will I recognize my talent? That's question one. This is development. Question two of development is, will I yield to it? Will I flow with it? Will I work on it? I'm not talking about working on it. Will I follow where the gift cluster leads me? Will I flow in the stream? I don't want to chase waterfalls. I want to stick to the rivers and the flows that are innate to me. Will I follow it and flow with it in such a way that these gifts and talents might be exercised for the purpose of discovery and display, so that I can discover the fullness of who I am. I can discover the fullness of what's inside me. I didn't know I could write. I didn't know I could teach. I didn't know I could run a small business. I didn't know I could be an encourager. I didn't know I had a gift working with hospice. I didn't know I had a gift. You know, my dad, when my mom passed, he told me right after. She was in hospice for a few weeks, and he told me right after, he says, well, I'm going to take some time and get patched up, but then I think I'm going to start this is very interesting. I'm going to start going to visit people in hospice. I'm going to see if I can sign up there and help. He said, they blessed my life so much, I would like to go back and bless other families there. And, you know, he signed up for it. And what makes me laugh about that is Pop's 80. You know this. He got a T-shirt for his birthday that says life begins at 80. And then he said, put on it degrees. Good morning, Smooth. So glad you're on. This is a blessing, T. It's been a great teaching so far. Well, at least for me, it's been a great teaching. But Pop had this shirt of life begins at 80 degrees, which I love that. But he's 80, he's halfway to 81 now. He doesn't like me saying that out loud, but Poppy's going to 100. So you can't get to 100 unless you go to 81. But he takes care of old people. And I was with somebody 95 today, 97 today. And he goes and visits people in hospice all the time. People who are at the time of their transitioning. They call upon him. People that have been in military service. Pop was in Vietnam, not of his own choice, but he'll forever be a Vietnam veteran. Spent 1 year in the jungle and the next 50 working through it. But when they have veterans that say, hey, they're getting ready to go, we want you to come pin them on behalf of the United States. And so he does. And without fail, Pop's going to pop. He's going to go. He's going to work his magic. Everybody's going to fall in love with him. They're going to say, oh, he's so amazing. They invite him to the funerals when the people transition and blah, blah, blah. What is this? This is an untapped entelechy. It's an untapped gifting. It's a gift cluster that is now bearing fruit. It is recognized by others, but now you have to flow in it to let it be discovered. You have to flow in it to let it be put on display. But now as you let it be put on display, it gets maximized for the welfare of ourselves and others. So this is, somebody said, if you had asked him 5 years ago, you think you'll be sitting with people in hospice? You think you'll be sitting with families? He goes to places, people are just, they're on their way out. And 6 months, people go to hospice, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year or longer. The only deal is for his group is if they say they're in hospice, there no more doctor visits, whatever. So he just comes and sits and talks with them. And he says, sometimes they recognize me, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we have the same conversation over and over again. Sometimes it's fascinating. Sometimes they can speak and write. Sometimes they can't. So I bring the crossword puzzle books and we fill them in together. The word search. I mean, this is, somebody said, where did you get this thing from? It was discovered. Now it's on display, but now it's maximized for the thriving of other people. What's so funny about that is when my grandmother 30 years ago, I said, Grandma, what do you do? She said, well, after your grandfather passed, I started taking care of old people. I said, taking care of old people? Grandma, you are old. She said, no, Michael, these people are old. She said, these people are old as dirt. They've been around since God was a boy. And I think about that. And the fact that I think of Grandma saying that 30 years ago, going to visit shut-ins, bathing them in the morning, taking their trash out, turning on their TV, putting their coming at night, shutting off their TV, putting them in the bed, taking their trash out. When I thought about her life and when she was old, taking care of old people, and I think of Pop, old, taking care of old people, what's interesting is their grandma and Pop, my mom's mom and my father, not blood related, but in their location, in their jurisdiction, they're cut from the same cloth. They got the same pure spirit, the same pure heart, the same desire to help people. And I'm sitting here looking at my wife, and I think she's just another one cut out of the same. I could totally see my wife being old, taking care of old people. But you say, how did I get here? What is it? Something was being developed. You passed through a womb. He passed through this matrix of the death of my mom. In the middle of that birthing, made notice of, wow, what an impact you can have just by sitting people in their greatest time of need, and stepped into a new jurisdiction, a recognition of something within, on display, now maximized for the benefit of others. I hope you are catching what I'm saying. I'll tell you this, I'm preaching better than you're emojiing. You may be shouting amen. I can't hear it. All I hear is, I can't even see your, this is it. This is all I got right there. That's all I got. But anyway, I hope you're catching this. Oh. Were you laughing at my notes? Is that what you're laughing at? Olivia and Connie have my notes because they're putting them in the chat as we go. They can tell you I haven't even gotten close. Now, when it comes to development in your notes, and yeah, I see where we're going to end. We're going to end on time today. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. Everybody's laughing. Thank you, guys. Good morning. Thank you, Renee. Okay, I just want to make sure you're here. When it comes to development, and we're still talking development, right? We've talked about our gift cluster and talents. Now we're talking about what it takes to develop those, and we're just going through it piece by piece. There are no limits or excuses when it comes to development. Here's the truth about the development of your gift cluster, whether or not you're going to follow and flow with it. The truth is this: the road you use often will get widened and strengthened. If you use the road of certain parts of your gift cluster, like I haven't used my painting gift cluster. I wasn't born a painter. I acquired that through experience, and I'm okay at it. If I used it a bunch, that road would get widened and strengthened. It'd be reinforced steel. It'd have 4 lanes. It'd have, but I don't use it very much. But the roads that you neglect, they fall into disrepair. Oh, man. Okay. Everybody. Angela's on. Terry's on. Good. Love you, Janet. Thank you. Back in your notes. Karen, here we go. There are no limits or excuses here. The roads we often used in our gift cluster get widened and strengthened. That's the secret to your development. I think I could be a writer. I think I could be in business. I think I could be this. Is that an aspiration? I'm not interested in your aspiration. I'm interested in what's deposited. I'm interested in what the gift cluster that was developed in you or deposited in you just by God, by life, by genes, by circumstance. That I'm going to go out and acquire a talent. You don't need to acquire a talent. You need to look at the deposit. You need to recognize the deposit. You need to listen to what others see in the deposit. And then you need to be committed to flow with that deposit till it's fully discovered and displayed. And then you need to be saying, how do I use this to maximize my thriving and the welfare of others? That's the real question. And there's no excuse. I don't really have time for that. Of course you do. Well, I don't really have the energy for that. Well, there are things in life that'll sap the energy to take away from you developing and using the roads more often. But the roads you neglect fall into disrepair. And listen to me, this is every life ever lived, including yours right now. And it's okay. Marcus Buckingham used to talk about, I think it was Marcus Buckingham, now discover your strengths. I think that was him. But he used to say the idea that we need to work on our weaknesses the idea that we need to work on our weaknesses is ridiculous. I need to fix my weakness. No, you need to do damage control, he said, on your weakness to make sure the back end doesn't hurt people or sabotage your life. But you need to develop those roads that are tied to your gift cluster and your strength. Moving on. Now, here's something to be mindful. Some people don't see the gift cluster they have, or they wish they had the gift cluster others have. Or, here's a typo, they despise the gift cluster they have because it's all they see. I'll say it again. Some people don't see the gift cluster they have. You don't see it. You're sitting there going, I don't, you do have amassed experience. You do have deposited gifts. You do have talents that came to you from God, from genes, from life, from circumstances. It's in there. Ma, where's the oregano? It's in there. Ma, where's the tomato? It's in there, right? It's in there. But some people don't see what they have. They just don't see it. Other people, they see what they have, but they wish they had what someone else had. Other people despise what they have because it's all I can see. Is this all I am? All of this is a losing proposition. If you are going to occupy spiritual jurisdictions and fully seat yourselves in the flow of whatever territory, you're a filmmaker, you're a photographer, you're a chef, you're a business owner, you're a retiree, you're a hospice, a nurse. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know I don't know your fingerprint. I only know mine. And sometimes you don't even know what you have. Other time you say, I don't want what I have. I want what other people have. That's a losing proposition. Not seeing what you have is a losing proposition. Wishing you had a gift cluster that other people had is a losing proposition. Despising the gifts you see in you because you really don't want, is this all I am? I mean, I've thought about that. I think maybe for a long time I despised being a pastor. Not the act of it. I love it. Not the process of it. I love it. Not the people of it. I love it. I love all that. But I thought, is this all, quote unquote, all I am? What do you mean, is this all you are? You get to walk alongside people as you walk them home and trying to trickle some of a bigger picture of life and God into their lives. That's a blessed life. But I also knew, I used to think I despised being a pastor, but what my real problem was, my religion taught me that I couldn't say yes to the other parts of myself, that I was either going to be this pastor, but I wish I was someone else. And it's not that I wish someone else. I'm not Pastor Mike. I'm just Mike. And Mike is really awesome in flowing in the flow of pastoring and develop people's lives. Mike is really awesome and flowing in the flow of writing and creating stories, movies, and books and things. Mike is really great at helping people with relationships and parenting, everything else. Mike is really adept at speaking to people regarding divisions and politics and things like that. Mike has got a deposit in him from life, season, circumstance, God, and genes that helps him lends to performance and creating art. Somebody say, well, which one is it? I used to despise being the pastor because I thought it's all I could ever be. And when I finally realized that's a lie straight from the pit of hell, the only thing I can always be is 100% me. So that's the losing proposition. What's the winning proposition? We're coming to a close here. I got just 2 minutes. If the losing proposition is not seeing what you have or wishing you had something else or despising what you have because that's all I have, if that's the losing proposition, what is the winning proposition? Well, here it is. If you are humble and honest and wise, if you're humble and honest and wise, then we can parlay these gifts, these talents, this gift cluster into what we call mastery. And when you can parlay through humility, through honesty, through wisdom, when you can parlay your unique gifts, talents, your gift cluster, when you can yield that gift cluster, take it to the process of development, just following and flowing with what others see in you, what you see, that you're not going to despise it, you're not going to ignore it, you're not going to turn your eyes to it, you're going to find and discover and display what is used for your thriving. If you do that humbly and honestly and wisely, you can take this and turn it into mastery. And when you turn it into mastery, you now enter the dimension of craftsperson. God. Craftsman, craftswoman, and there are few things on the planet more beautiful than a craftsperson, than someone doing what they do on an elite, developed level. I learned this from my friend Andre, my buddy Andre, my pal, my amigo, my Damie, my A1 Day One, my Ace Boone Coon. Andre said, Mike, there's nothing like watching a craftsman at work. There's nothing like watching a woman who is a man or a woman who is doing what they do. They're in their zone. They're in their bag. They're in their flow. That's what you watch Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what you're watching Messi. That's what you're watching Michael Jordan. That's what you're watching Simone. You say, I'm watching an athlete. No, you're watching someone in their zone, someone in their flow. You're watching mastery. I was in Philly, my first time in Philly, and I walked into this restaurant, and there was this queue and this whining snake queue that we were walking in, and they were, you look at the board, you find out what steak you want. It was a steak restaurant. You find out what steak you want. It was like a walk-up, carry-out steak restaurant, and in the back corner here at the end of the line, there was a guy at a grill, and it was, a huge grill. It could have been 8 feet, whatever, 4 feet deep, and had steaks on, and he would call to you while you were 20 people back and ask you what you wanted. He would have his back, he would turn and say, blue shirt, what is it? What is it? Blue shirt, what is it? And you're sitting there chatting, you're going to miss because he's going to skip to you. Green ball cap. And you better know what you want. You better say what you want. A ribeye medium rare, you better spit it out because he's in the zone. He's preparing steaks, moving them across the grill, slapping them down, and he's talking to customer 20 while he's talking to the 20th person in line while he's pulling the first person in line steak off, done to perfection, and just moving it along. And that is, you're observing someone. Somebody said, well, I thought we were talking about elite athletes. Craftsmanship, mastery, being a craftsperson has nothing to do with the audience. It has nothing to do with the paycheck. It has to do with how developed they are, how much they have yielded themselves to mastery. And there's nothing like it. Nothing like watching somebody paint. There's nothing like somebody watching somebody care for a child. Go into a children's nursery at a children's church and watch a woman who is supposed to have one kid per 5. So-and-so had a cold. She couldn't be there today. That lady's in there working 11 2-year-olds. Everybody's calm. Everybody's happy. Diapers being flipped, this and that, juice. Nobody's biting. Nobody's doing this. How somebody said, what's happening here? You're watching someone in their zone. A police officer, a doctor, a nurse. It's just what they do. So let's go back. And we'll hear. Let me see if I can get you on your screen here. And I promise we're ending right now. So gifts and talents, they're deposited. Then they're developed. But what about this jurisdiction? Catch this in your notes. We'll close. Recap. Gift deposit has nothing to do with you. The life, the genes, the circumstances, the experience has nothing to do with you. The deposit has nothing to do with you. The development in your notes has everything to do with you. The deposit of your gifts, how you amass that gift cluster, how that unique fingerprint came to you, just happened to me, just there. How do I know this? I was just flowing with life. And over time I just opened up my basket. And what's in your gift cluster? What's in your basket? Well, I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I got this from God. I got that from my mom. I got that from my dad. I went through a hard time here. I went through this. For like 6 weeks I was doing this. I never even thought I could do it, but I can sew a little bit. How'd you get this basket? It just happened to me. It had nothing to do with it. But the development, the yielding, the flow, the yielding to mastery, the winding of the road, the use of the road, that has everything to do with you. Well, what about the jurisdiction? Here's what's wild. The jurisdiction is at once completely dependent upon you, but entirely out of your control. I'll say it again. Might as well show it to you. Let me see if I can come up with a crazy color here. Here we go. The gifts and talents is you. No, it's not you. Sorry. The gifts and talents not you. The development 100% you. But what about the jurisdiction? It depends on you. How developed are you in what you didn't get for yourself? It depends on you. But it's out of your control. Now, what do they normally say? Preparation, opportunity. That's a thought, right? What's that mean? Preparation, opportunity. What that means is, this is your preparation. That's really all that you can do. But when you pass through the womb and you enter into a jurisdiction, you're there because you were ready for it. You're there because you've endured the gestational process. But you couldn't get in that room of jurisdiction if you banged on the door all day. The jurisdiction is granted, and that granting is beyond your control. But who you are at the time of that granting is entirely a result of how well you have yielded, flowed, followed, the leading, the widening, the use of that amassed gene, God, circumstance, life, mom and daddy, what you've been through, gift cluster deposit. and you bring all of what didn't come from you and all of what you have yielded and done with what came from you, you bring that into each new territory in the Spirit. And your fruitfulness in that place is tied to that combination of what has nothing to do with you, what has everything to do with you, and that which depends on you and is completely out of your control. But we're going to have to pick up with that next week. We'll pick up right there. I got stuff to tell you. I hope you're growing. I hope you're learning. I hope you're being blessed. And I hope if you feel like, whew, God, this has helped me, would you consider saying, Pastor Mike, every time I tune in, you're a blessing. And I'm not going to let a month go by that I'm not a blessing to you. If we bless you, I'm trying to bless you as big as I possibly can. Be a blessing to us as big as you possibly can. And that means something different. Somebody else said, Pastor, blessing you this week is me stretching my hands towards North Atlanta and saying, Father, that's fine. But you say, Pastor Mike, you know what I just did this week? I just got this. I just sold the largest this and that. Man, I'm going to be a real blessing to you. It doesn't matter. Heart to heart. Let's talk heart to heart. Thank you. Just thank you for your support. Thank you for being a financial support to us. You know, I figure we have about 200 to 300 people watching every week. I think in my brain, well, there ought to be 200 to 300 people that say every single month, I want to be a blessing to you. Or once a week. I'll tell you, it's not that though, but that's all right. I don't need to know what other people feel they're getting. You let Connie and I know what you're getting. And we pray. We pray first that what we put into you bears great fruit. We pray that what you deposit into us comes back to you mightily. And for those of you who do support us, thank you. We pray a harvest, tangible and intangible harvest over you and yours every single day. My job is to feed you and grow you. Connie and I's job is to cover you and bless God for you and to keep you always before our hearts and before God, and you're always on our mind. What's your job? Your job, number one, is to say, I receive this and I let it work in me to transform me into someone else. And then to say, thank you. I value what you give me. And here's my communication of that value. And that looks different for everybody. But then what? Then the word we deposit, let it go out for other people's thriving. Bring this out for the welfare of those close to you and the welfare of those far away. Go be. Christianity is not getting saved. It's not what it's about. Christianity is not getting your sins forgiven. That's not what it's about. That's the lies we were told. Believing in Jesus Christ, following Jesus Christ, being born again has nothing to do with I'm on the right team and the Jews and the Muslims are on the wrong team. That's all false. We were stolen from when it comes to the message of truth. You want to know what it means to be a follower of Christ? You want to know what it means to accept Christ into your life, to hear him call you from the shore of Galilee and say, follow me? You know what that means? It's that as I have come to embody true religion, as when you look at me, Jesus says you've seen the Father, as I have shown you that taking care of people around you, near and far, seeing the least of these and responding to them with compassion, that's all the religion you need to know. Jesus said, and any temple or mosque or synagogue or church that's telling you that serving God is about anything other than how you see and treat one another, Jesus said they're lying to you, they're deceiving you. Anybody preaching a sacrifice system, something's got to die, God's upset. He said all that is nonsense. And he said that so clearly that the people who controlled those systems decided he needed to be snuffed out. But you can't snuff love out, and you can't snuff God out. And if no other reason, he was raised from the dead for the simple fact to let us know that love endures, that love goes on, and that love will endure throughout all the ages to come. And you and I are here now with that same spirit operating in us, not getting in this false sacrifice system, not getting in this false, I got to be on the right side system. We're trying to be on the true side, which is what? The only thing you need to know about religion is that how you show love to other people is the sum total of who you are. Be a Buddhist, show love. Be a Muslim, show love. Be a Christian, be a Hindu, be a Sikh, be an atheist. It doesn't matter. It's not about where you go when you die. It's about, are you convinced of God's reality, of love's reality enough that you can't live any other sort of life that doesn't spill over into bringing dignity and compassion and to offsetting the lack and the injustice in other people's lives. That's it, period. Well, what about all those verses? They were all added like tares sown among wheat to pull us into everything we're seeing online this past week instead of doing what we were supposed to do, which is to walk through life as an embodiment of God, just like Jesus did. And that's why we say at the church, we're trying to bring more Christ and less Christianity. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting us feed you. Thank you for supporting us financially, covering us and lifting us in prayer. And I'm not going to say beyond that, but as the cherry on top, as the ultimate aim, go out and be Christ this week to somebody right next to you and to somebody you never met. Because that's all there is in religion. True religion doesn't preoccupy ourselves with the vertical. Are we all right? Did I get forgiven? Did I get the right blood? Did I get the... That's nonsense. Nonsense, nonsense. True religion is the religion of Jesus of Nazareth. And it is to say, I wake up every day and go about doing good with the Holy Spirit's help and healing and helping and ministering to all those who are harassed by all the darkness in the world. If you do that around you, the vertical. What did Lil Wayne say? Do the big and let the small fall under that. You'll be all right. God bless you. I love you. Connie and I love you. My whole family loves you. I speak peace, health, protection, preservation, soundness, abundance, aboveness. Bless each one that is heard. Bless the members of the church. Bless the checker-outers of the church. Bless those that are brand new. The ministry of angels, favor, the light of God, the love of God, passing to you and through you on to others, that you're a continual conduit for releasing love from the universe into the universe, and then it comes back to you richly. You're loaded with benefits. Goodness and love surround you like a shield, and it pursues and overtakes you. And the light of life, regardless of your circumstance, the effervescence and joy, it overflows. And everybody who encounters you doesn't encounter your circumstance or situation. They encounter the internal love of God flowing through you. I bless you, and I bless God for you. Amen. Listen, don't forget Tuesday night. It's for grown folks. We have a marriage podcast. This is episode 5. We typically do it Tuesday mornings. We're going to be doing it Tuesday night. It's going to be at 9 p.m. And we're talking about being kinky for Christ. And we're going to get into it. And it's going to be unlike anything kind of. We're either not coming to teach. We're coming to impart. And you be there. It's for adults only. It's on YouTube, right on this channel. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends, I don't want to let them know that. We got to get rid of the shame. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what you're into. If it's not harming children or the vulnerable, and it's not violating your dignity or anybody else's dignity and consent, we're going to celebrate it, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a good old time. We have a gay old time. We're going to have all the old times. It's going to be great. Be there Tuesday, 9 p.m. I'm going to be there, but I don't want people to know. Isn't that sad? This part of us, this sexual part of us, that's part of almost every one of us on some dimension. Some part of it's just how sexual I'm not. It doesn't matter. We can't even talk about it. We can't even be about it, but we're going to be about it Tuesday night. And I'll see you there. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, put your kids down. It's adults only. We're not going to do anything nasty. It's not going to be profanity. We're not going to have sex or nude stuff or bad drawing. It's not going to be that. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be great. God bless you. It's going to be awesome. Love you. Love you. Love you. Okay, love you. Goodbye. God bless you all. God bless you all. In Jesus' name.